We're glad to be here for our Global Mission Committee meeting, and we welcome Tracey King Ortega, mission co-worker through the Presbyterian Church USA in Central America. And we wanted to invite you to give us an update and share with us how you are and how your ministry is going. So thank you for being with us tonight.
And thank you for the invitation to be here. As I was just putting some thoughts together to be with you all, I thought, wow, 10 minutes. I could barely get all my words in because there's so much going on right now. As you're probably aware, I've actually been based in the States for some time now, since the social unrest in Nicaragua in mid-2018. And then kind of compounded by all the COVID reality. It's just been being based here in Southern California has been better for my family at this time. But despite the distance, the work is continuing and a lot of things are happening. As you know, I serve as regional liaison for Central America. So though I know your congregation has a particular connection with Nicaragua, Nicaragua is just one of 4 countries that I'm working in. And so, there's just, so that's when I say there's so much to talk about. There's really exciting things happening in each of those places, and I could do hold on one second. Yeah, go. So I could spend, probably a half an hour on each one of these places. But I'm just going to touch on some of the highlights in each of those countries for now. And I'll start with Nicaragua, which most of you are familiar with. And as you know, CEPAD, which is one of our main partners there, is celebrating its 50th anniversary. And so that's a great milestone and an exciting time, kind of an injection into the life of the organization as they kind of start moving forward. And they continue, despite, I say, difficult circumstances, are continuing to do what they can. And I think there's a lot that if we want to get into Nicaragua, we can get into that, but I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Our other partner in Nicaragua is CIETS, which stands for the Interchurch Center for Theological and Social Studies. So they have both a School of Theology as well as they do community development work. And the highlight that I want to focus there is that over the past year and a half, CIETS has become, what's the word? I forget, I think they call them facilitating partner for SDOP. So there's, I think last year was about $30,000 worth of SDOP grants that they distributed through Nicaragua. And it's just been really exciting to see these small bits of money, seed money for businesses and like small business development, like a group of women starting a bakery or a bee farm and different kinds of things. That's really, I think, transforming lives of impoverished families and communities. And so that's been an exciting thing. And they're actually, I'm going to send you all a link after this. They just wrote up a story about that connection. And I guess this Sunday, they're going to be featured. I guess it's SDOP Sunday or something like that. So our partners.
SDOP is self-development of people. It's one of the mission arms of our denomination and one of the primary ways that our One Great Hour sharing offerings are used.
Exactly. Thanks for that. Moving on to El Salvador, that's where a lot of my time and energy has been invested lately because there's just a lot of exciting things happening there. We have a small partner denomination there. It's called the Reformed Calvinist Church of El Salvador. And again, it's a small denomination, but they really have great vision and do a lot with very little. And over the past, I'd say about 5 or 6 years, in their own discernment process of looking at what is our role as a church in El Salvador and looking at the reality, they saw that migration was kind of the number one issue affecting their communities. People leaving, but also people being returned or deported from the US. And so they began to develop a ministry, including in that they converted some office space that they have at their congregation in San Salvador into a shelter for returned migrants and internally displaced people. And so they got a grant from Presbyterian Disaster Assistance from PDA to get that up and running. That grant has since been spent, but they as a church are committed to continuing to accompany those people. So they're just kind of piecemealing it, but continuing to receive. They said that on Saturday, a family of 7 just left the shelter after having spent 21 days there. So that's an important part of the work that they're doing. But along with that, they're also looking at kind of holistic development in communities to be able to develop a sense of rootedness for people so that they feel connected to that place, but also have economic viable options that will allow them to stay and thrive in that place. And so they've joined up actually with the government in looking at some different economic development models and are studying those. And actually, you all know Matt Sampson. He just spent most of February helping them do some kind of intake interviews and assessing the viability of that program. And so they're just doing some really cool things then. And then on top of all that important work that our partners there are doing, we just hired a new mission coworker by the name of Joseph Russ, who will be the coordinator for migration issues, advocacy, and mission. So he'll be based in El Salvador with our partners there, but the idea is to also build into that network our other Central American partners from the Northern Triangle, from Guatemala and Honduras, as well as adding in, then connecting with US churches and Presbyterians who are wanting to get involved in migration issues, policy, advocacy work. And the idea is that the kind of advocacy work we decide to do here in the US be informed by the experience of our Central American partners, because it's all so interconnected and tied together. So we need to discern and figure that out together. So I'm really excited about all that can come from that. And Joseph is just an amazing person with a lot of experience. And if you guys are interested in migration issues, I would suggest you invite him in to share and teach and learn. He's just great. I actually just had lunch with him. He's originally from Los Angeles area. So I decided to take advantage while he's still here before he heads to El Salvador on Saturday. So I just had lunch with him about 3 hours ago. So that's exciting. Let's see. And then the other 2 countries, do you want me to keep going or am I at my time? Keep going. Okay. Other 2 countries are Honduras and Costa Rica. In Honduras, we have a mission coworker by the name of Dory Halmerson, and her focus is theological education and leadership development. And so she's been doing that, and the church has just been growing and thriving. Even though the last 2 years with the pandemic have been so challenging, there was also, as you know, from Nicaragua, back-to-back hurricanes that just slammed them as well at the end of 2020. And so, but the church has really begun, and I think part of it is Dory's accompaniment, but just kind of their own faith journey. The church there has begun to discern a little bit about what does the church's mission look like. And they began to serve communities where they don't have churches, but communities in need that they've identified. And they're being the protagonists in serving other communities has really transformed their understanding of, living the gospel. And that's been really exciting things that are happening. So And then we also have a pretty vibrant Honduras mission network. And so that learning and that transformation that's happened in the church is then being shared with the US folks in the network. And they've also been struggling with how do we accompany our partners when we can't physically be there. And so the partners have taken a much stronger leadership role in the partnerships and what they do and how they engage. And currently, Dory's leading a Lenten series, doing the same theological education course that she's doing with some of the seminary students in Honduras. She's offering it to a U.S. audience. And so that's really cool to see that mutuality in learning and sharing of experiences. And then in Costa Rica, we have our main partner there is the Latin American Biblical University. We have Carla Cole, who's there, and she teaches Christian history and missiology, and really is there. The Latin American Biblical University has students from all over Latin America. So the reach that we have with that of touching future leaders of the church in Latin America is just really powerful. And then we also have a family there, Mark Hare and Jenny Bent, and their two daughters, and they're working in eco-theology, but the practical application of that. And so Mark has been working in developing some community gardens on the campus, but then reaching out to the local community to get involved in that. And it's just been, really exciting to see how sometimes we can get in our theology, just kind of get in the Bible studies and that it sounds good and it's important. And if we look at climate change and what is happening in the world, and Central America is a region that's being so hard hit by these realities, causing the migration that we're addressing, and so many, and hunger and poverty and all of these kinds of things, to see these small efforts of the church to being an example of how do we invest in the community and bring life and bring nourishment and bring food, because God has abundance for us. So I think I went over my 10 minutes, but I got a lot in there.